I think it's stage 5 of grief that you hit when you get to acceptance, the final stage. And I think that's where I am. We're going to be playing Championship football next year. I don't see how Spurs get out of this. This was the night to make a fist of it, show that you care. A night to go out and give the fans a performance that's going to give you confidence for the last 9 games. We had 10 cup finals, including that game against Palace tonight. And again, we have failed. We have fumbled, we have failed, and we are heading only one way, and that is down. I saw the Championship have updated the playoffs to 6 teams from next season, so at least we might have a decent chance of coming up next year. Honestly, I don't want Spurs to go down. I think it would be an absolute disaster, and I'm not one of the fans that subscribes to the theories that it'd be somehow better for the club, right? I don't know if ENIC would sell. I don't know if they would, because they probably wouldn't get anywhere near the sort of money they thought with it, because their asset is depreciating massively. But I'd look at this team, I look at these players, and I think about, would I rather watch the kids, maybe Archie Gray if he somehow stayed, and a couple of other players that are still here, like Danso maybe. Would I rather watch them in the Championship next year, or watch some of these players that are still here probably take us into another relegation battle next season? Because as much as I have spoken about the manager, Thomas Frank absolutely had to be sacked and was at fault for a lot of our issues. The club sacking him too late has cost us massively. The club themselves have cost us massively. You remember when Johan Lang said we didn't want to panic in January? We didn't want to panic. So we went and bought Conor Gallagher and Sousa, a young left-back from Brazil, who didn't hide at all tonight. Yes, he put in a crunching foul on Munoz, but he didn't hide. Wanted to get on the ball. He's not great, but he gives a bit of balance to the team. And then Conor Gallagher, who came on, cardio machine, nothing better. Absolutely useless footballer. Like, why have we done that? Why have we done that? But we didn't want to do any other business because we didn't want to panic. If there's not alarm bells going through that football club right now, then I don't know what. I don't know what. Tottenham tonight, Crystal Palace had a shot in the first minute of the game. Vicario had to save it from Wharton, sort of set the tone a little bit. But we rallied a little bit. We did okay. I come to the starting lineup, right, with Igor Tudor. And this is where I think Tudor's got to go. I thought Tudor would be better than this coming in. He started well at teams before, speaking to some Juventus fans and how they liked him, etc. I didn't have loads to go off, right? But I also wanted to be confident because I wanted to believe that we could get out of this situation, right? And I stood here Saturday last night and said, the fans have got to be behind the team. And they've got to. And I still maintain that, right? I'm just telling you how I feel right now. I'll still be at all the games. I'll still be getting behind the players. I'm just telling you how I feel right now. And that is that I've just accepted our fate. I think I have. And I will keep being there and I will keep fighting and I hope this team do the same. But I feel like it's easier for me to deal with if I just think that we're going to go down. But Igor Tudor has notoriously started well out of the teams, but shown that he hasn't got the ability to turn it around when things get difficult. Things have already got difficult. We've got worse. We're 11 games without a win in the Premier League for the first time in our history as a football club. Sound the Ryan Mason alarm. I think at least there's some sort of connection there. I'm not saying that he'd keep us up, but he knows the football club and knows what it means. Igor Tudor, he's getting paid either way, isn't he? He's getting paid either way. He can sit there and do a content and say, well, the club was absolute mess. It's done no damage to my reputation. He'll still get a few more jobs in Italy. But for Tudor, starting Archie Gray at right wing back, starting Porro at right sided centre back, why? I don't understand that. Porro is not a central defender. I understand that he wants his channel defenders to bomb up the pitch and affect things in the final third, which Porro can do, but you're much better off having Archie Gray carrying the ball out from the back, and Pedro also has got more defensive probably awareness in that position probably than a Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro, get him on the wing, get him trying to get crosses into the box, trying to make things happen. No. I appreciate with the injury situation that we've got at the moment, there are going to be a lot of square pegs in round holes. But that is self-inflicted. Or you play Paulinho in there and you move Archie Gray into midfield. These are kind of simple solutions here. So why are we overcomplicating it? What is he doing? What is Igor Tudor doing there? I don't get that at all. And let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you're new as well, if you want to. We go 1-0 up after Crystal Palace have a disallowed goal by a bollock. I've not seen it back. I've seen people moaning about it. I've only just got back in from the game, to be honest. And I don't want to watch the highlights. I don't want to rewatch that. But it was a very marginal offside. And then Spurs, we get a corner, which comes from Matty's Tell. Again, Matty's Tell in the first 20 minutes, I think it was, had that just after they made the substitution from Munoz. Again, he's another one where I'd keep Tell around 100%. At least he's got a bit of bravery, a bit of balls. Drive at the fullback, try and have a shot. Did that a couple of times. Henderson nearly spilled one. And then obviously the deflected one goes out for a corner. And we score from that after Archie Gray shields the ball really well in that corner. Gets a cross back in and Solanke scores. Archie Gray, with no real help round him whatsoever, summarises the team absolutely, doing it on his own. How any Spurs fan cannot rate this kid, even if you don't think he's going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. He's got more maturity, more fight, more bollocks than the whole team put together. And as for Mickey van der Ven, to give away that penalty at that moment with 7 minutes to go before half-time, when you're 1-0 up, I know players never do this. Let him score. I don't even think Sarr was necessarily even guaranteed to get to the ball. Vicario was coming out. You've pulled him back. There's no attempt to play the ball. It's a red card. I literally tweeted this morning that Spurs will give a penalty or a goal away or something, or will give a penalty away through pulling or tugging and will be the ones that get made an example of. But Mickey van der Ven has only got himself to blame because it's so blatant. Sarr's going to go through, I think, at least. I mean, like I said, was Sarr even guaranteed to get there? It doesn't really matter. He throws himself on the floor and it's a penalty. No attempt to play the ball. If you're going to do that, you might as well take him out because you won't get sent off. Double jeopardy only really applies when you've made no attempt to play the ball. So either just let him score or try and take him out. At least try and say, well, I tried to win the ball. It shouldn't be a red card. To do that at that moment as the captain is so brain dead. And I actually thought Mickey was playing all right before that as well, which I think is really disappointing because he has got nowhere to hide now, Van der Ven. If he thinks he's getting that move to Real Madrid or Liverpool, then good luck to him. I've always loved him, and I never thought it would get to this point with Mickey, and I never thought it'd get to this point with a lot of these players, right? Because I've come out to bat for these players a lot. I've said that it's been Thomas Frank that's the problem. These players aren't being platformed correctly. I've always said, though, that they've got to look at themselves to an extent too, obviously. But these guys they're checked out. I don't think all of them have. I think there was a bit of fight and a bit of effort in the second half, but players like Van der Ven, they don't care. And actually, we said it in our live stream the other night, didn't we? If you could have two of your centre-backs available right now, I'd rather have Danso and Romero available than Van der Ven at the moment. That's not a captain. I don't think he can play without Romero, really. I don't think he can. To do that at that point was so brain dead. And you knew as soon as they scored the penalty, you knew exactly what was coming. You knew they'd get one more before half-time. 8 minutes added on, they go and get a second as well. And every goal that we concede at Spurs, you think it can't get stupider, it can't get worse than last week. Every goal that we concede, basically, is a competition for the worst goal we've conceded this season. How easy we are to play through and the mistakes that we're making. Tell gives the ball away, obviously, for the second goal. Sarr's not looking. Again, I'll defend Tell. I'll defend Tell a lot. And that's only because he's a young kid who's brave and wants to fight and has got the heart for this situation. And then the third goal, Vicario. Rightly booed. I don't care. I'm not a booer. I'm not one of those people, but I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. He's not good enough. And if we stay up, he's one of the first players that I'd get rid of. Vicario. I've always said it. I've never gone too big on praising Vicario after he's had a couple of good games because you know the next mistake is around the corner. And that's why after those Monaco and Everton games earlier on in the season, I'm not apologising. I'm not holding my hands up. The bloke's a liability. The bloke's an absolute liability. And we're going. I honestly think we're going. The second half, nothing really to talk about. We huffed and puffed in the first 10 minutes of the game. It was easy for Palace, really, though, with the extra man. Again, Archie Gray, the only will run, driving us up the pitch. I'd give him the captain's armband now. Why not? I don't care. I don't care. Like I said, I do not want Spurs to go down. I think it'd be absolutely catastrophic. I'm gutted that this is happening. The club deserve it. The club absolutely deserve it for thinking that they can get away with not spending the amount on wages to compete at the top table, despite gaslighting us fans that that's exactly what they want to do. Going and spending that little money in January, thinking they weren't in a relegation battle, when these players have gone 11 games without a Premier League win, we're getting worse, other teams around us are getting better. But it's right, at least we didn't panic because we've got injured players coming back. When are these players coming back? The club are an absolute disgrace and they've got blood on their hands for that January transfer window. When you look at how the other clubs acted, they are sending this club down. They are sending this club down. It's all right because Vinay will be off. I saw a brilliant tweet from Tetrank, Jack. And it just shows how much of a joke we are. And the fans are. Because the fans are the loyal ones. I'll still be there next season when we're playing fucking Rotherham or wherever it is. Even if it's 20,000, I'll still be there. And you're getting mugged off by fans on social media who never go to games saying that how can the fans leave at half time? They need the fans. The fans have been there the whole time. The fans have been there the whole time supporting this club, getting behind these teams at away games. Like I said, I think I've been to 75% of the away games this season. They've been brilliant atmospheres. They've been absolutely brilliant atmospheres. I'm trying to find Jack. Tetrank tweeted this. Jack tweeted this. Even an abject failure like Vinay Venkatesham, who I fully expect will be let go ASAP, will pop up at some Arsenal event or on an overlap type format in a few months, years, and joke about being an Arsenal man and relegating Spurs, and everyone will have a good laugh about it. It's one of those things where everyone's having a good laugh about it at the moment, aren't they? It's like the Leicester season where everything's marrying up. It's all going against us and everyone is loving it. That year it was the underdog and it was plucky old Spurs and you bottled it third in the 2-horse race. Now, Arsenal win the league and we're getting relegated and everyone's laughing at us. And the club absolutely deserve it. They deserve to be held up as an example of a laughing stock. We don't. We're paying some of the most expensive season ticket prices in Europe, which I guarantee they won't even fucking lower if we go down to the Championship because they'll say there's extra games. An absolute joke. And I think the more I talk about it, the angrier I do get. And I just think sitting there for 45 minutes going through the motions, when you know we're not going to get back in the game, that's where the acceptance starts to creep in and you just go, you know what, I would rather sit here and watch Mikey Moore next season given the keys. I would rather see the young players just be trusted and we have a good go at the Championship. I don't want Spurs to go down, obviously, but that is how I feel in my gut at the moment because there are so many of these players that I would never want to see play for the football club ever again. Not fit to wear the shirt. The manager, he's making us worse. I'm sorry. Like I said, I thought Tudor would be a decent appointment in the short term. Not that there were many other decent options out there. At this point, I'd rather go and get Ryan Mason. Give me a Spurs closer to what I recognise. Give me a manager on the touchline who wants to keep this team in the Premier League because Igor Tudor don't care. We are an absolute mess. I don't know how we get out of this. Anytime you think that it can't get worse. Like, we can't play any worse than we did on Sunday. We go and implode like that. And I actually thought we were playing a bit better than Sunday. And Arsenal, and even though the bar's on the floor, couple of moments, took the lead. And then we just handed it to him. We just absolutely imploded. And Van der Ven is the captain. Well done, mate. Well done, mate. 4 minutes after scoring, you've royally fucked it, mate. Well done. I can't wait for him to go, and I never thought it'd get to like that. Billy Big Bollocks. He's not having a go at the fans, is he now? Not having a pop at the fans like he did at Bournemouth. Just, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of a lot of them. And I think my way of just accepting it is my way of making it less painful. Not that it's going to make it any less painful. I just think I'd rather see these youngsters in the Championship. At least there's something to get behind there. Terrible night.